Hello guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon guys. So this afternoon guys, um, we'll have the object-oriented most commonly used principle, and that is what we call solid principle, right? So we will be using .NET 7 and C# 11 to demonstrate what is solid principle. So I will start to click my Visual Studio 2022 here. And we'll just start create a project, and I will how to use the console application here. And uh, in my repo, I will just say solid example or solid exam, because sometimes waiting ready for the examination for our next employer. Okay, I am using .NET 7 now. So this is C# 11. Alright guys, so this is the project files now. And then you only have the program.ca, so this one you can just delete this. So you can delete it. And of course, if we so yeah, we are writing or we are implementing in this video. We will learn about solid principle with C# .NET Core. Why do we need them, and when should apply those principles in our code? So we will try to cover some actual real-world example where principle can be useful and applied. So guys, this principle is usually or used in C#, but it will be applicable also to other programming languages, right? So we have the solid principle, guys, is an acronym that comprise the five principles that are used to software design engineering principle, especially if we are using object-oriented principle. Right, so we have the single responsibility principle, the number one principle. After that, the open close principle, which is a prerequisite for the SRP. Number three, the list scope substitution principle. And we have the interface segregation principle. And we have the dependency inversion principle. So yeah, we will start with the SRP, so single responsibility principle. The definition, if you search in Google, state that every software module or a class, because when you are writing object-oriented programming, you should always use the class. You always design a class and implement that class in your program to use it. Okay, so should have only one reason to change. So only one reason to change. Okay. So if there's a change, for example, if you have a logging requirement in a class implementing logging, functionality can undergo a change, but that same class should never undergo a change in any other functionality other than logging. So this means to say, guys, there's no wrong if you have, for example, you have a class in logging, and then you are also a method there that not related to logging. But if we follow design principle, especially the SRP, it should not be there because, for example, writing or reading XML is not part of logging, so it's not his responsibility. It's not his own responsibility. I mean, all right. So that's what we call single responsibility principle. So let's have an example here. For example, we have an order service class that will create an order and also make a payment, and yeah, we'll just make a payment. This is an order class. So we have a public class. Let's see order service here. This is just an example, guys. So usually this is uh, if, if, if you are working with e-commerce, there are lots of functionality about this: ordering, payment, generating invoice, sending emails to the customer, like that. But this is just a simulation, not a real application, guys. This is just for demonstration of the solid principles. Okay. So I creating now a public class order service. So this class I should have, for example, this is only simulation because I will just have a method public string, let's say order creation, or yeah, create order. So I will just have the create. So it means to say that it's creating an order because it's under the class order service. So I just pass here, for example, string orders or order details. I will put it in orders like that. Okay. This is the method of the order service class. And this one, guys, this is the string. So for example, I just have a string order ID, and I will just set the value to blank for now. This is just a sample. So I just have returned the order ID. Alright, so I have one method of the order service now, and I will also have another method for the payment. So I will return a boolean, for example. So paid or paid or payment, order payment. I just have to say payment of string, what is being paid. Let's say order ID as well. For that particular order ID, it will make a payment. So I just return true. So the implementation doesn't matter, guys, so because this is just a simulation. Okay. And for example, if I will create an invoice, so maybe you design also a public uh, Boolean invoice generation, something like that. And you are passing order ID again, what order ID that will generate an invoice. And then it's raining here, guys. You can just make it return true for simplicity, but you can add your input there. Alright, so that's a simple order service, guys. So let's examine our code, guys. So operation wise, there's nothing wrong with the above examples, guys. It's coded correctly, and it's performed all tasks correctly. But this class not following the single responsibility principle. Why? Because there is more than one task in the class. This class is implementing function to create orders, make payments for orders, and generate invoice for orders. This is clearly more one responsibility of the order service. Yeah. So this is clearly, this way it's very difficult to maintain the class as a change in one functionality might impact other functionality. So also change in just in invoice will require testing for all the function in the class, the order creation, order payment, like that. So that is the trade-off, guys, if you put that into one order service class. Right? So let's try to refactor this, guys, as per as to the single responsibility principle. Alright, so how do we refactor it? Uh, let's make it public class order service, and we'll omit the other method. Yeah, because it's already, I will just have to name this order class is RP because it's already have same class. Okay, so this is violating is RP. No, it's working, but it's violating is RP principle, and this is the solution, better solution. There's no wrong, it will work, but it's not a better solution, especially if you are the one to maintain also the software or application. So, and every day that comes in, and a few months from now, after 3 years from now, there are lots of future that will coming in. And if you design that it's hard to maintain, and there are lots of changes that will affect in just one class, but there are lots of things to do which is not related to the ordering. So in our order services RP, we should just have to create one method, public string, We're just trying to demonstrate, guys. So this is just an example also. So let's say create. So we make that. So let's create and training here. Training orders. It's hard for me to type. Alright, so same as above, we just copied it to make it faster, guys. Alright, so yeah, we just return the order ID. Now, this payment, we will remove that. Instead of putting it in the order service, we will create another class specific for payment. That is what we call single responsibility principle. So we will create public class, for example, payment service. Or we can have that. Payment service. So this is new class that is particular for payment only. So you just have to move this here. So ball payment is inside your payment service class. I think there's a storm. Why is keep raining here? Guys, I really can continue next time. Oh, it's moving away. And then for this one, so we already removed that in the order service. So I can just make this like this, and we just have to comment this because we already input this. So PC like that, okay? So we are going to have another public class for our voice service. So like that. So we have 3 now. So we're just breaking down it into a class. Yes, and then you can just move this invoice creation of invoice here. Although in a real scenario, you can have a lots of implementation business logic there. Like that, guys. So this is now is RP, but it's running here, it's running. So now instead of 1 class, we have added 3 classes. One for its responsibility, and we move code from a single class to a class as per responsibility that we are implemented. These 3 guys, the 3 classes for its functionality, the order creation, the payments order of payment services, and the generation of invoice. So what are the benefits? And it's raining. So the benefits for these guys, classes with single responsibility are easier to design and implement. This promotes separation of concern by restricting single functionality to a class. It improves readability as it's a single class where functionality is much easier to explain and understand. Yeah, so a real world example, guys. Then reading, guys, so I will stop this video for now.